We at the top again, now what? Help me lay the crown, but count us higher than a mountain. And we be up here for the long run, strap in for a long one. We got everybody on one. Now you coming at the king, so you better not miss. And we only get stronger with everything I carry up on my back. You should paint it up with a target. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come get your spoiler, but we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you coming, my name you ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up. Take a lap now, don't be mad now. Run it back, run it back. I got bodies lining up, think you're dreaming of greatness. Send you back home, let you wake up. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come and get your spoiler up ahead. We're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you coming, my name you ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
在以后，除了说傻子，还有其他吗？我左右，键盘琵琶在时间滴答着，还不够。
Welcome back, everybody. We've got another series of action for you. It's Team Secret taking on GLX. We'll bring it all to you here live on VCS English. My name is Everyday. With me, as always, is Marbanogi and Rebel Fox. Series 1, a little bit disappointing. What are we expecting out of this one, Mr. Fox?
More disappointment. We have GLX. They disappoint us every single week, unfortunately. They had that strong start, and ever since, for some reason, that first couple of weeks, they just have not been able to figure things out. So I think alongside you guys, maybe this is slightly more competitive just because Burst the Sky is not playing Saigon in this one, and it is Team Secret, who for some reason can't figure out how to recapture the form that they used to beat Gam with. But it probably shouldn't be anything other than what our expectation will be set as. I believe all of us also called the same direction in this one.
Well, we can get our predictions straight up on the screen because, yeah, I think all three of us predicted a 2-0. I think all of us sort of agree that despite the standings, GLX is probably the worst team in the league. They are currently still ahead of Flash, but Flash has been on an upswing while GLX has done a whole lot of nothing. Yeah, Marby, what's your take on this series? Does GLX have any way in?
GLX can always rely on the fact that teams occasionally forget how you play against GLX. We saw in their last matchup, they weren't able to win, but they were able to get a decent showing of people just forgetting. All you need to do is camp Kemkin. Because Kemkin, he keeps playing over aggressively despite knowing he's going to be camped. And because of that, he just gets killed again and again and again. And that means both side lanes are instantly losing for GLX. Then mid jungle usually does fine, or in some cases, in some games they do really well, but usually they can't like 2v8. They can't win the game off those alone. is with Kim in a hole and the bot lane just kind of being useless. So
I think Kemkan is a bit of a victim of top lane being weird at the moment. Because at the moment, you are safer in top lane if you're pushing your wave. If you're sitting under tower, you're just going to get dived. And that happens to Kemkan every single week. He needs to learn that your tower is not safety in the top lane. Particularly when you're playing something like Gnar and you're just in mini form, they're just going to dive you over and over and over again. And it kind of keeps happening. And I really hope they've worked something out. But let's not harp on the GLX point. We'll move over to Team Secret because we think that Slater is going to be taking another break, at least for game 1.
Yeah.
And Eddie played pretty well last week, so I think that's reasonable. I'm not saying that Eddie's better than Slater, but certainly the difference between what we saw from Eddie and Slater in the previous week, at least from what I saw in the game that we casted last week, was pretty good from Eddie. So I don't think you lose too much in terms of what Team Secret's bringing to the table.
Yeah, I think if they stick with the roster that is Eddie and Nagia, I think that's probably the best form you can have. It doesn't have quite as high highs as this like Slater coded, but Slater's out for whatever reason. So and Eddie isn't that much of a downgrade. I'm actually really upset Eddie is on Team Secret because he has played he has now played too many games to be considered a rookie if he gets to start on another team. But he hasn't played enough that we can't ever consider him for a Rookie of the Split Award. So he's been squandered there.
Kind of a Killer Queen scenario.
Kind of. And with Nagia versus Coded tends to have the higher highs, but he's much more inconsistent. Nagia can get slapped around, but he just bounces back extremely well. So I have really high hopes for this kid. I want him to do well, and I think up against Kemkan, he has a good chance to make himself look good.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. I was just going to get your thoughts, Rebel.
Oh, I have perhaps the single most important plotline that we have yet to discuss yet, which is that the Southern Britannica Turkish Chicken Esports squad can finally stop being considered the fourth or a top 4 team if Team Secret wins this in a 2-0. If they win a 2-0, they're tied in match score, and they've split, and they're tied in game score. So at minimum, they're tied for top 4, if anything else, for the first time this split. And we can stop calling this team a top 4. If Team Secret's got nothing else riding on them, all of us want this to happen so that SBTC can no longer be considered a top 4 team.
I need to question your geography.
Are we allowed to have this much bias? Of course we are. We're a fan stream. You can't stop us. We hate SBTC. We hate them openly.
They are fine as a top 5 team. They're not allowed to be a top 4 team. Those are the rules.
I still want to question your geography because Southern Britannica Turkish? These things are not.
I didn't name the team, Bobby. I didn't name them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Rebel's fault. He didn't name them Super Big Time Chicken. Mm-hmm. But this is an important series with standings implications for Team Secret, as Rebel is outlining. The battle for 4th spot is actually still super hot. BTS can technically make the miracle run, but the 2 real candidates are Team Secret and SBTC. Team Secret, with a win here, draw level, and they have an easier close to the split than SBTC. So just don't fumble here, and Team Secret are looking pretty good for playoffs, but losing here would be a disaster.
Oh, yeah. It would absolutely throw them off. It would put them into quite a hole as SBTC. They still have to play SGB and GARM, but not GARM, sorry, and Cerberus, but they also get to play GLX, so they get to take that win back, in theory. So it's going to be tight. It's going to be really tight. Plus, you're already down up against... no, you're 1-1 against SVTC. Never mind. Doesn't matter. You're not... They're fine. They don't actually lose. They don't actually have the head-to-head to worry about, but they do need to worry about game score. They need to be worried.
Let's talk a little bit more in depth about the matchup on screen. SBTC is not playing. It is GLX. and Secret. We've touched on it a little bit, but Rebel, I want you to give me the best case scenario for how GLX takes at least a game. How do they win a game?
Oh, that's really tough to come up with. They really have not had a very consistent win condition, which makes me back to the beginning of the season when they were being really competitive. And part of that came from a combination of like breaking Blazes out of mid lane with Ken being able to actually have impact and their bot lane just being completely minimized out of the equation. Because let's face it, like Shine and Bispo or Shine and Yin really just have not had the greatest of splits. You could make, to say I'm making an argument is to be completely political and to say that they are probably just the worst bot lane in the league right now is more accurate to say than anything else. So playing exclusively onto your top side as G Media is pretty much the only way where you're going to be able to take games or series at all at this point.
But of course, the issue with that is your top side's not overly strong either. Blazers has been okay, honestly. But I know, Marby, you actually have quite a few thoughts about the jungle for GLX. We were talking about this earlier, but I'd love to let you unleash.
Killer Queen is statistically one of the best junglers, probably the second best jungler in terms of pure statistics. In the actual game impact, he falls down a little bit more compared to players like Bean J in particular, maybe Zhuhao, maybe even someone like Meliodas. But in terms of pure stats, he is pumping out so much for his team. He's doing a huge chunk of his team's damage, like over 25%, which is ridiculous for a jungler. He is leading junglers. No, he's second in amongst junglers. No, he is first amongst junglers in terms of team share of damage and in DPM. He is just cracking out damage. And when he's in, he usually gets good jungle leads. And he's able to convert them into not necessarily wins, but he's able to convert that into pressure on the map that lets them snowball into some dragons. Then usually they fumble in a team fight and that loses them the game. But it's a strong start. It's a strong foundation. And with DNK being a little baby who needs his hand held, unless he's on a leash apparently, in which case he has extra hands to hold his own. So
I thought he had 7 of the most important thing. But anyway, the Elise getting handed 4 kills at 3 minutes. That probably doesn't happen twice. That was definitely sort of a once in a lifetime thing. That was a gift to our producer. I think Killer Queen is an interesting case. Their stats are definitely insane. But I think when Killer Queen is in, they play around him a lot. We are headed into Champion Select in a moment as well. And I'm kind of curious to see which jungler starts. I definitely think Killer Queen should start over Storm. 100%. But I'm not sure of how he matches up against DNK. This is a good series to prove the point.
Yeah, I think it's... Even if they are heavily playing around DNK, not DNK, Killer Queen, it's better than when Sorn's in, where they don't play around anyone. So,
yeah.
I was about to make a reference because you said you talked about how the damage share specifically on Killer Queen is 25% of the team's damage. It's because no one else does any damage.
It's interesting. Me and Marby were having this conversation in the car on the way home from the airport, and Marby brought this stat up, and I went, "Yeah, well, that's easy when your team's terrible." Okay, Killer Queen's actually hitting people. The rest of the team's not. That doesn't actually mean much.
I mean, it's still impressive when you are a jungler and you are, in theory, the one dying first most of the time. He still has a really high share of his team's deaths, which means he is dying a lot. He is dying first in a lot of the fights, and he's still cracking out more damage than his AD carriers.
True. I definitely think he's the bright spot.
Sorn's in, we're dead.
It is. Sorn is in. Nidalee open, but he's going to go to the heck. He's going to get a
We're learning.
Okay. We take those. It's not. If I do GLX, then what would happen is they'd put this Hecarim top lane and they'd still pick Nidalee for some reason. That would have to. That would just elicit perhaps the most. I would just not continue complaining in your guys' ears for the remainder of the series.
Oh my god, I'd let you as well.
Yeah.
It is going to be answered by the cast, and we do get the confirmation that at least Nagia is in. I assume we will always see Nagia and Eddie together. I think they'll probably be scrimming like that. And Set picked away as well. There is no way this gets locked in. They've already picked a jungler. No way it's going to be a Yi. Saul's just having a bit of fun. Doesn't do anything in game, so at least he can do something in Chancellor. And it will be Senna taken away.
Alright. Now let's see if they round it out properly. We've seen GLX go to the center before, but they've been very, very, very naughty in terms of pairing it up.
PK.
Brom nearly gave me a heart attack. Sorry, Brom is. I love the guy, but he's not a good farmer. This is much better. This
Choggers. Oh, don't tease us.
I think Tom is a slightly better pick up against the Set. You don't want to make your Cho'Gath too big to dump into your team, but yeah, very, very standard rotation coming out from Team Secret. Still a little bit of flexibility with that Set pick. You can go into 3 positions, of course. GLX picking up a solid bot lane for themselves, nice and defensive. Can they work around this? Can they actually get someone to have an impact and get them to that late game? We'll see.
We definitely will. The Udi Hecarim is becoming a bit of the Azir Corki, except it's a bit more fun, at least. Irelia ban? I think they might want Nah.
Exactly my thought is you see Aurelia and you're like, Gnar is going to be on your horizon. You're going to blind Gnar into the top lane. Which, it does make sense, I guess, to take top lane here. If you're not planning on... if you take mid lane or you take support, then you break what the Set is going to do and you give away a lot more information. So taking top is a lot more understandable here. Let's see if GLX catches on, because I think just banning the Gnar could also be really, really beneficial here to make sure, unless they've got something in the back pocket. I know Kemken has played... he's been good at team fighting in the past, so like I would not hate if they just decide to go to like a pocket cannon or something, which was used to be really good into the Gnar back in the day, but...
Yeah.
This Irelia is also I'll let you in a sec, Marvin. It's also a double ban. Blazers has actually picked the Irelia a lot. It's a champion he's had a lot of success on, so I really do like the ban, but Marvin, go ahead.
Yeah, for a similar reason, I would really like if Team Secret picked the Jace in 4. Gives you still that flexible option, lets you pick so much, especially with the Gnar ban, that takes away your main reason for banning the Irelia. And Irelia into Jace is still good in the same way that it's good into Gnar, so I think just pick up the Jace here, give yourself that flex potential. Doesn't have any really bad matchups that you lose too hard, so just lock that in. Come on, man. Nope.
I do like this Twisted Fate though. I think Artifact has had good performances on this style of champion. I like it a lot. I think Twisted Fate is good.
It does break, I guess, the mid potential for the Set. You can still flex it between top and support depending on what your top lane pick is, but I would say, especially within the VCS, it's a better mid laner than it is a top laner for the most part. So there's that, at least to consider. But there is a lot of places to attack now, especially with point and click CC on Udyr and on your Twisted Fate, so you can appreciate that at least.
Yeah, we do need to see a fair bit of damage, I think, coming out of the top lane of Team Secret, assuming that is going to be a Set support. Because they are a little bit low at the moment. Kai'Sa, the real big DPS carry, as Azir is going to be the lock-in for Blazers, so they're definitely not lacking in damage. Between a Senna, a Camille, and an Azir. We'll see how Team Secret will round this one out, and then we'll judge some compositions.
Yeah, if you really wanted to play Big Brain, you could go for something like the Jax. And I was going to say Jace initially, but they hovered the Jax. It still fulfills the same role as I was going to go for. Gives you that 1-3-1 sort of split push option. You have a very, very weak team fight though, so you have to be a little bit careful if you're Team Secret.
Yeah, you do. Let's have a look at the GLX side. They've ended up with a pretty standard draft. Rebel, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, There isn't a Galio here, which I think fits a lot better with like Camille and Hecker when it comes to team fighting. But Azir is necessary because you just don't have any magic damage in your team, so I can appreciate that. They still have a lot of dive. The Tom Kench is kind of the one question mark to me because it's like, okay, I love Tom Kench and Senna. There's nothing wrong with that, but you've got like 2 dive champions between the likes of Ken and Sorn, and then you've got this like weird backline that can get attacked, but you already have Azir for defense, so it's. There might have been better options to go to in mid lane since you had that Tom Kench for some defense alongside the Senna, but all in all, their team fight's all there for the GLX as well.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty hard comp to attack from GLX. Senna will be hitting from light years away. The railgun pairs well with the divers, just give them that big shield. I think this is good. I think we will finally as well see a fasting Senna. We've seen too many farming Sennas in the VCS, but recently they've changed over to being on that diet, which is good, because I do like your way, I don't want him to explode. But we're gonna, honestly, I think GLX has done a really good job drafting here. But Rebel, I'll give you the final word, and you have to predict game 1.
As much as I do like what has been brought out by GLX, I actually really firmly believe that this Udyr is going to cause a lot of problems. DNK go bonk in this game, and they're going to take game number 1.
Fair enough. I can't say I disagree, but Marby, let's head into the game. We watched that big Tom Kench prancing to lane. Keen to see what they have planned for this Twisted Fate as well.
Yeah, my eyes are definitely purely locked in onto the junglers, and I guess with a bit of a twist of fate in the peripheral vision, because you'd want to see Team Secret really jump up to a huge lead with good ganks, good map movements, try and make things happen and get their side laners in particular into a position where they have constant pressure to roam in, make sure that GLX cannot group up and fight you without sacrificing too much on the other side of the map. They need to be leading the play, because if Team Secret are second to the play and are the ones being led, they provide very little. They have a few pick tools with the gold card, with the showstopper, with the Udyr, but they do not provide a very good team fight setup unless they play immaculately. It is just so hard to get this composition to work in a 5v5, especially up against the likes of, the Azir wall, the super long range Senna. It's just going to be super difficult to have an impact.
Yeah, it is going to be really hard. I feel like we could see Team Secret going into that hard 1-3-1. You pointed it out in draft that they are set up for it. Ooh, CBL takes a lot of damage at level 1, but sidestepping the center Q means that he's not chunked too low, and of course does have that set passive, so should be able to regen up nice and easily as time goes on.
And Senna, especially fasting Senna, shows up really, really strong up against melee supports, especially paired with the Kai'Sa, because they just do not have the range to jump on top of you. CBL would have to look probably for the Flash E, and that's not really going to be traded too well, especially because the early damage from Tom Kench is still pretty insane. He does a lot if he's allowed to just lick Q as much as he wants. He's got something on his tongue, and does a lot of damage to muscular men.
It does, as Artifact has actually been chunked out pretty hard. He's going to go for the early back and TPing in. Blazers will mirror. So the early mid lane, a little bit boring, as that bot lane domination does continue. The early game power of the Tom Kench and the Senna not able to be ignored.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
DNK has the early pressure. He's gotten that first crab and he's rushing his way down to the bot side, so there should be a bit of a clash, but this definitely favors GLX as they have the bot lane rotation.
Yeah, this is an instant rotation. There's Hecarim, goes in, knocks Udyr towards the team. The center Shroud will give them speed, but not enough to catch. Artifact, I don't know if you want to move down, and there's the instant take on the crab. Shine doesn't go get the souls. I'm sure your way is very mad in chat, but the crab is secured for GLX.
He made up for it with getting a few souls out of the bot lane. He really needed to try and defend that because there was looking for that pincer. But with a good E, manages to, a W, manages to just shove them off and say, get. Crab. We have crab.
Oh, but here we go. There's been a face breaker. DNK gets the flash. Bizbo with a lot of grey health will pop it into the real shield. Can they go under tower and take him down? There it is. The Haymaker makes some hay. And there it is. A first blood for Team Secret, and they move out to a 400 gold lead.
It looked a little bit silly there from DNK, flashing the root from the center on top of the
it's Tom.
CBL. And yeah, it's Tom. He's got that teleport. He's just coming back to get his dinner. Make sure he is alright. And if CBL gets his back interrupted, which he does, Kaiser as well,
That's a bit tragic.
They could set up a very nice freeze here. Just hold it back. Make sure Eddie has to overextend for any CS. But here is just a good setup by CBL. DNK looks a little bit silly, but the stun is enough to keep Bizbo in place. Couldn't get the flash off in time. Easy execute with the grit. And those sort of like not quite tower dives, but things that turn into them are perfect for Seth because he just gets to walk up, put a big shield down, and walk away.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of want to talk to you just while we have some downtime about the fact that Team Secret...
Downtime.
Well, CVL doesn't actually make anything happen, so it's still downtime. About the fact that Team Secret has opted into a 1-3-1 comp. Because we don't often see this in the VCS. 1-3-1 in general has... Oh my god. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! It's... Oh god. That was embarrassing.
Oh,
I don't know why they did that. That was just silly.
They walked at them menacingly and then got punished. You do not walk menacingly towards the Emperor, but now Shine may have overstepped. Oh my god, the execute.
Up. Bang. Down he goes. That early lethality coming in big with the Prey Seeker blocking the passive.
That's actually something worth mentioning. Actually, shouldn't that mostly have been magic damage? Isn't the passive magic?
Yeah, actually, good point. But it's just a lot of damage.
Either way, it is a lot of damage. It caught Shine unawares. It completely blew them up, and that does mean that the fumble from DNK is fine. They get Team Secret get to turn that into the first dragon. That's great for them. As to answer your question, we don't see 1-3-1 pretty much anywhere because it is just too hard to pull off. It has very high risk and it doesn't really play a very strong reward around what is strong at the moment. Things like the dragons are just so strong. These group ups, as Kemkin is going to be killed, as a nice wildcards come down. Oh, but good dodge, doesn't matter. Shine's dead as well.
Yeah, on the other side, they do manage to trade one. Bizbo gets his lunch, but it will be Eddie coming away with a kill as well. The wave pushing into him as well. Not what is wanted, but there is a horse lurking.
There's a smelly man as well.
Yeah, it's answered by the homeless. Can Eddie outplay this for long enough? Oh no, he cannot. That's so much damage. Bizbo should be traded as DNK deals a lot of damage, but it's a flurry of action in the bot lane, and it's left a mountain of corpses.
Yeah, and it's still not over.
Round 3, here we go, but CBL arrives in time to defuse it. Surprise Set stopped the fighting. Not very lore appropriate.
Yeah, well, no, they realized they couldn't take it to the boss, so they backed off. The challenge, he issued a challenge and it was rebuffed. But yeah, they want these team fights. You definitely want these fights around the the objectives. As we see, yeah, CBL sort of overreaching, but that facebreaker means they get the kill onto Shine, 1-for-1. It doesn't stop. Thankfully, we don't have to go too much to the replay, because there wasn't much to talk about there. It was just good CC under the tower. Anyway. Dragon's too important. 1-3-1 bad. Stinky.
Yeah, I mean, that is sort of... I mean, I agree. And I think the VCS is also one of the leagues that even if 1-3-1 was a better strategy in general, the VCS would still struggle with it. It's just the coordination in the VCS is a little bit lacking. As also the VCS shines mechanically, not brain.
brain, head empty, no thoughts.
Yeah, I'm a VCS caster. I can barely figure out the words, so I'm just taking after my region. As DNK is going to clean up this Scuttle Crab and then grab a Rift Herald. A good bit of macro play, as they will be able to get ahead. Eddie did not bother swapping up, as Set has left and threatened the roam, but it's actually not too far away at all.
Yeah, they end up only losing that one tower play, and there's a lot of damage down onto Shine. With the flash open for CBL, Ignite coming up shortly, they could turn this into a kill if Shine overreaches for some poke, but it's going to back off, so just going to be a easy trade. One tail play for a Rift Herald, that's more than happy for Team Secret, as Nagia still sort of punishing Camkin a little bit, getting ahead in these trades. And okay, I failed to notice this in my first sweep of the summoner spells, but DNK, make your way to top lane a little bit more. You've got a freebie up there.
Yeah, it's Ignite Teleport. This is an interesting matchup to take it in. Jax, of course, is a very hard Camille counter. It is funny to see Nagia playing Jax. Not that he's bad at it, it's just Coated is a bit of a Jax one trick. It was for a long time, so, just how the draft worked out. It's just a bit funny. As DNK slips into the bush, has access to the flash. There's the showstopper going in, pulls them back with a face breaker. Actually, I don't think he quite had flash. DNK now going up tower. The Haymaker will claim the first kill, and Bizbo goes down to Eddie, and the game is broken open, Marby. Team Secret are just outplaying GLX.
Yeah, beautiful work, especially from CBL. Perfect timing on that Haymaker to pick up Shine. The only downside to that is it means there's no extra assist gold, but great setup. Doesn't even need to blow the flash at all. And just beautiful timing. Picks up that kill. Artifact and DNK a little bit miffed that they didn't get an extra assist to go along with it, but they get the bonus frog, and they get to walk away and set up for this next dragon that should be very easy for Team Secret. If I'm GLX, I do not fight this at all. It's just an Ocean Drake. Wait for the soul. It's not important.
Yeah, let it go. It's going to be a
Cloud or a Mountain?
Quote-unquote passive Drake. That's the one that doesn't deal direct damage or healing. Mountain could potentially be problematic for GLX if those get stacked up by Team Secret. Sorn stunned, but it's not much. Actually, Team Secret not moving for the dragon quite yet.
Yeah,
Team Secret quite confident enough.
Team Secret kind of focused a bunch of attention onto the crab. Plus, as we said before, they're not really that great of a team fight comp, but if they can get a good pick...
Sorn has to burn his ghost just to run away. There's a teleport straight to the middle of the team from Kemken. The railgun rattles on through, dealing a lot of damage, but Nagia's gotten that first kill. They turn around onto the bot lane. Nagia has chased the horse off. Oh, Shine goes down. Bizbo gets caught. Massacre around the dragon, and he slept all the way through it. Come on, mate. There's just been a good fight. As the Rift Herald, I think that was meant to be a ward, but oh well. She'll go have a wander.
Blazers just completely left his team out to dry there. As Team Secret do not have a terribly strong fighting composition, but they have good pick potential. They almost got one onto Sorn, and then Kemken kind of went in a little too early, didn't have his team to back him up. So here Sorn's already blown his ghost, and Kemken is just kind of in the middle of 5. And here, look, Blazers, he just turns around. They've gone on to the other 4.
Yeah,
Blazers just like, nah, I'm out of here. You guys
thanks.
suck. I don't want to deal anything of this with you peasants. I am an emperor. I am a bird. I am above you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so his team dies and he gets a play. Good job. You really did it, buddy.
I have a good simulation of Blazers' Azir currently sleeping on my shoulder. But Artifact coming back to lane, farming it up, is a little bit behind Blazers, but nothing that is not made up for by 6 assists. As Team Secret have taken this 3k gold lead, Nagia picking up 3 kills. This Jax, with the Bork completed, is now in a very, very dominant position, and there's not much Kem can do.
Yeah, there's no one who can contest him on the side lanes. I guess Blazers can clear a wave before he can do too much damage, but this Camille can't really provide too much up against even the Twisted Fate. There's too much CC to keep him in place, to run him down if DNK decides to pay a visit, and the side lanes should just be in complete control for Team Secret. They should have this one if they just play it out slowly. Don't try and overforce 5v5s. With this with this 2 dragon lead, they don't need to really aggress around the dragon that much. They can leave a couple for the side of GLX to sort of use that trade dragon for towers, trade dragon for things like Rift Herald, but Rift Herald's going to be a while away, and...
Hang on, Nagia, he's in some trouble, trying to use the hops, but no chance there. Yeah, Hecker and Camille's a pretty strong combo, even if you are Jax Blazers. Surfs away from Artifact, but it was a good trade. That's a good bit of gold back for GLX as they get footing in the top zone.
Yeah, and DNK, he's going to be a little bit of a happy pony as Artifact's coming in.
Yep, they are coming straight in onto Ken. He's going to try and get away with the hook shot, and it's a good spell, Marby. But Artifact doesn't think it's good enough as he flashes over the wall, throws a gold card, misses the wild cards though, and Ken will escape.
Yeah, didn't have the cooldown right when he threw that gold card, so he couldn't follow it up instantly. And it's just a bit of a flash burnt for Artifact, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but unfortunately their sort of turnaround play nets them nothing. It means that they can't really punish the base in mid lane, and have to react and have to just sort of slow the game back down. They got to pick up a Rift Herald from that extra pressure in top side, and just CBL's presence alone is enough to force Blazers to flash away.
Yeah, that is going to be burned. Hopefully there will be some return pressure as DNK secures the second Rift Herald. Shirley in the pocket. Still roughly this 3k gold lead despite the kill taken back on the top side. We do need to see this Jax starting to really put the pressure down. Maybe with a bit of help from DNK. This tower breaking would be pretty big for Team Secret, because at the moment Ken is able to hang on.
Yeah, I think... you could drop it into one of those side lanes and bust open a tower for free. They've both been set up really low. But I think you want to try and go against everything I've been saying so far and just group up as 5 and make a concerted effort to break open that mid lane structure. If you can get that tower down, you can set up your vision a lot better for your split pushes and be a much more threatening on those side waves. Then that's not cascades into the outer lane turrets, which cascades into more pressure, into more side lane towers, and the dominoes fall one by one like a house of cards. Checkmate.
You've been trying to use that line for about 2 weeks.
Yes!
As there is an attack down onto GLX. The Twisted Fate will be coming in as well, straight on Shine. Don't know why you wouldn't use the center shroud to at least make yourself untargetable, but it doesn't matter because you're just going to go down. The tower's dead, which means Bizbo has nothing to run to. You're a big catfish, but you are just a meal as Artifact whips a card in, orders himself up. A nice server fish.
And the teleport back to mid lane means that they might be able to save this mid lane tower. No, not quite gonna have that. So fortunately for GLX, they are able to sort of recover a little bit, but that's 2 towers down on the outside. That's going to convert into a dragon as well. Shine can, in theory, participate if someone wants to go in for a bit of a cheeky steal attempt, but it's not really worth the effort. They're just going to give that up. It's only a Mountain Soul. It's not the most impactful, especially for this team that is already quite squishy. You have a lot of true damage available to you through Ken and just enough consistent damage to melt through with Shine and Blazes. You're not too worried about these few stats given over. Plus, you can still try and fight for the others. You just use this 5 minutes, get more gold onto your carries. You are reaching these item breakpoints. You still need a mythic on Camille and Senna. You're so far down. Send help.
Yeah, but Marby, I think we have to address the elephant in the room. It's a 5-1 Kaiser versus a 0-5 Senna. This is not easy to win for GLX.
I mean, let's take a step back. Let's find the Vietnamese observers and slap them until they show a Senate soul count.
Yeah,
Because there is still a chance. No, that's not a chance. There is a chance. It's the VCS. Things have always been terrible in the VCS in terms of throwing it in ways you shouldn't have. Just overreach, going for barons that you shouldn't have. This gives them a chance, but now they have this Rift Herald that they still have to use, and there's only one out to turret left to use it on, so again, I want the 5-man effort. Group up, bring your jacks in to threaten a dive, and go for that gank. Go for that gank onto the turret. Kill the turret.
Yeah, I want Team Secret to keep pushing their lead. I want Team Secret to keep pushing their lead. This is something we need to keep an eye on Team Secret doing. This is not a hard series for them to win. GLX is the worst team in the league. Team Secret is the 4th best. They should win this 9 times out of 10. But we can judge their tendencies here. And if you I don't think Garm would ever play this composition, but if they did, and you kind of slowed down in the mid game, you'd end up losing the game because of it. GLX might not, but a better team would.
Yeah, and they finally take advantage of the pressure on the side lanes. They finally find their opening to drop that Rift Herald. They break open the mid lane, and that has now left them with so much easy access. They can shove the wave in super deep and just go for those sort of Baron attempts if they want to. Taking a Baron would, of course, benefit your split push, but mostly what you're trying to do here is draw away as many resources as you can so Nagia can just hammer away at this bot lane. Bizbo's down there at the moment. He's got his teleport. He's got his ultimate. He can rejoin the fight easily, but he is not he's not going to win a 1v1 against Jax. That's just not going to happen.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not happening. This Jax should be completely uncontested in the side lane as soon as Nagia wants to, and that's a Baron attempt. That's 6k.
Yeah, it's going down pretty quickly. They have a lot of damage with this 3-man, and that's it. It's just gone completely uncontested, completely unnoticed. They did not even look to drop a center ult or anything, and Eddie's gone for it.
Eddie
dash away.
Yeah, they got the hell out of there, my word. Aggressive, but they secure a Baron and Team Secret continues to grow the lead.
Yep, and now we see Baron come down, Triforce completed, so is the Lich Bane. The tower damage on these split pushes is absolutely absurd. All we need to do if we're Team Secret is just keep pushing our vision in. It's a minute till Dragon. Make sure Nagia has a very strong push in this top side. Force someone to respond. Force Bizbo to respond. Force Ken to respond. Make sure you can draw as much away as you can. And if he does go, you can just pull back. You don't actually need this Dragon. Sure, you'd love a soul, but that just brings Elder closer to the table, and that brings a chance for GLX back in. But if you can make them waste their time around this Dragon, and Nagia can just shove in this tower, that's a victory. But nope. CBL.
Here we go. CBL has found a way in as there's the railgun firing in. GLX actually not doing terribly in this fight as they get the first kill, but now here comes Nagia. He gets 2. DNK will get 1. Ken on the run. Bizbo fires back onto CBL. That's probably not the hop you wanted, Nagia. Trying to get close to Bizbo, but needs to be careful. This is a Tahm Kench with some gold. As there's a stun landing. Bizbo doing his best to be annoying, but the rest of his team has melted on away. Artifact comes in with a gold card. It's still a lot of damage to cut through this catfish, but they do bring the heat and serve a sushi roll.
And that is an 8k gold lead for Team Secret. They're going to pick up the Mountain Dragon too. And you saw how close that fight actually was. They were engaging 4v5. It was really... CBL jumped the gun a little bit, but it didn't actually matter because the wallets were just so much. They did heaps of damage to Shine in the just straight off the bat. They
Look how long
killed the
CBL
Kaiser.
lives.
Yeah, they killed the Kaiser immediately as well. But yeah, Nagia finds his way in, pops, does the remaining amount of damage, and if the game was closer, that probably is a one team fight for GLX, and that's the way they get back into it. But as it is, that's a victory for Team Secret. They get the Mountain Soul, and now they just need to make sure GLX doesn't find a Miracle Team fight around the next dragon, because if they do, that's gonna cascade into more Miracle Team fights, because you have a fifth less health.
Yeah, but not this time, as it would take a lot of miracles. Let me put it that way. As Shine finally completes that Kraken Slayer, is, so far behind. I know, obviously, Senna comparing directly on items is not correct, but we're never going to get a Senna soul count because the observers in VTV just hate us. So we have to see if Shine can continue to scale as another tower falls, and the clock is ticking, and I think the bomb's pretty close to going off.
Yeah, at this point they've actually busted open an inhibitor turret. They just need to, and if Nagia makes his way up there, that's going to fall down extremely quickly as this pressure keeps going. But actually they're collapsing onto Nagia right now.
They're going to try it as Ken comes in. Obviously has that Hextech ultimatum, but there's a Twisted Fate ultimate, and Nagia is buying a lot of time. I think Artifact might regret arriving, as this Jax is strong, but not strong enough. Another stun, another counter-strike, and a hop! Oh, Nagia's might actually get out here as a stun comes in, but there's a hook shot to make sure he goes down. Artifact now is really salty, because he came down to help his top laner, and now will pay.
Now he's just binding 10.
Yep. Look at top lane. That's going to be 2 kills traded for an inhibitor.
Yeah, they're going to get that inhibitor. They're going to move up and take this other outer turret too. That's everything outside the base down. There's only Nexus turrets and a mid lane inhibitor tower remaining. They buy so much time down bot lane. It actually is almost a miracle that GLX was able to not lose anyone except Blazers, who I think died in the top lane. That's just a fed Jax, I gotta say. Yeah, here we are, Blazers. He's trying to shove things out as the rest of his team collapses. He's just, what are you doing, buddy? Your team's nowhere near you. You cannot be out that far. You cannot make plays on 2 sides of the map at once when you are down 10k.
And it is insane how much time Nagia and Artifact buy here. They should not be able to buy even a quarter of this time. They've just gotten the greatest deal on time ever. Clockwork is out of business. The clocks are worth nothing. The time's bought. Time's gone.
Time is a flat circle, and you know, it wound up saying it's Team Secret clock, I suppose. I don't know where that metaphor's going. Anyway, but I know where Team Secret's going. They're going to Baron in 30 seconds because it's not actually up. They got ahead of themselves and baited me into that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, there's nothing on the map at the moment. That fight did come at a bit of a dead time. He's 15 seconds on the Baron. Artifact whips the red card in, just dealing a bit of damage to Sorn. He's very tanky at this stage, though, with that Dead Man's Plate and the Turbo Chem tank. Baron joins us on the Rift.
Yeah, Baron joins us on the Rift, but look at these side waves just pushing into GLX's base. Team Secret doesn't actually have to start anything. And we've got Artifact. Smart. He's going down.
Because he can obviously Twisted Fate ultimate out of there. There's the Destiny. Hasn't used the gate yet. Now he will, but he baited 2 in. This stun did not come in time for Ken. Now it's a 5v3 around the Baron. Nagia has got it started onto Bisbo, dealing so much damage. Doesn't even pop his health into white. And Senna goes down. Sorn will be the next one to follow, I imagine. Nope, it'll actually be Blazers going first. Then Sorn. And now the final member of the team. Ken. We love to give him 3, but not this game, as they have been absolutely blown out by Team Secret, who will take the win in Game 1. And, they're getting closer and closer to securing 4th.
And Team Secret, they picked a very unorthodox composition for the meta, and they played it beautifully. That was absolutely 100% what we want to see out of Team Secret, what we hope to see from them coming into the start of the split. And with completely different players. Oh, not completely. 2 different players. 2 rookies at that.
Yep. It was very impressive stuff for sure. Team Secret coming in. I like this Eddie Nagia version of Team Secret. I think Eddie's really, really good. Like, whether he's better than Slater or not is a bit of a moot point because it's more about the Nagia part. I think Nagia is much more consistent than Coded. And I don't think there's a notable drop between Slater and Eddie. So I love it. I think this is really good. I think this is the Team Secret I want to see going forward. And we are going to go to a break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We will be bringing you more action here on VCS English. Welcome back, everyone, to VCS English. Definitely nothing going on behind the scenes. It is the scuffed cast continuing. Again, I'd like to apologise for the poor quality. I just moved into the flat today, about 4 hours ago, so we didn't have time for much setup. I'm currently casting from the couch, and my monitor is balanced on a cardboard box. With me, is Marvin Ogie and Rebel Fox. Team Secret dominated game 1. Rebel, what were your thoughts?
You know how, like, okay, so let's say that like a train or a car is coming at your direction and you're like shooting at it with a marshmallow gun, right? Technically, you're causing that to slow down, right? Like, technically, you're causing it to slow down, but that's just not the case. Like, you're not actually doing anything, and that's what it felt like. It's like somehow, like, GLX made it look like their plays made it look hot enough that it's like, oh, maybe they have a chance at actually taking this game. But in reality, it was more so just Team Secret not being able to do anything that they wanted to do until they were able to force towards the end of the game. And it was never really any resistance that was coming out from G Media. So there was that to at least consider that Team Secret didn't do perfect, but G Media never really was a threat in that series.
Yeah, they weren't. They were really never ever a threat. Going into the second game, did you notice any holes in Team Secret that maybe they get a little finger into and they can dig at? I'll let you start it off, Marby.
The landing phase wasn't great from Team Secret. Nagia was doing well into the counter matchup, but Artifact was getting kind of pushed around. Admittedly, he was in a losing matchup, and I guess so was the bot lane. But so really, if you doubled down, picked a more aggressive jungler, like, I mean, not really as a pick, because Hecarim's super aggressive, but just be more aggressive in those early laning phases where if you have winning matchups and try and push those advantages, because you were doing fine up in the laning phase, but you just got pulled around the map. You got out team fought when you really should have had an advantage because you drafted for it. And at that point, what are you going to do? Team laning phase should be as minimal difference as you can get for teams, because everyone plays solo queue at a really high level. Everyone knows how to play lanes. Lanes don't change that much from pro to solo.
I mean, evidently, I don't know if that applies to GLX's bot lane. Do they know how to play lane? They did get ganked before I draw the wrath of your way. They did get ganked a lot, but Shine, like, he's a black hole. It might be a little bit mean, but he's just been a real black hole on this team, sucking away all of their chances to win. We need to see an improvement, drastic improvement out of the GLX bot lane for them to get back into this one. We head into Champion Select, and Team Secret is over on the blue side.
This is, I think, preferential. In the previous game, GLX had to give away counter pick to topside, which immediately removes Ken from the game, which is what happened with the Jax pick. And then if you play into bottom side, all of a sudden you have a losing bot lane for GLX naturally, and it's further ahead, and then immediately you're losing topside because of your matchup. The one place that was good for GLX was Blazes, who had some okay trading into Twisted Fate as the matchup now goes after nerfs from previous patches. But he was able to get out of lane and just kind of ruin the map anyway for the side of GLX. So you gotta get something here for top side, because again, you're not really getting anything from bot side anymore.
So GLX decided to ban Udyr for some reason, giving up the Tristana pick.
Insane first pick.
So with that, the Tristana is the obvious one. But going to pick the Olaf instead of...
I actually don't mind that. With Hecarim and Udyr removed, securing the Olaf makes a lot of sense.
I understand getting an early jungler, but my main concern is going back to GLX's situation. Why bother banning the Udyr and giving up the own? Okay,
nothing. Giving GLX up nothing, Bobby. Nothing.
GLX sucks. GLX, why do you draft like this?
I have something better for you guys to look at. Don't look at the draft. Look at the bird. Yeah, look at the bird. He's soft and fluffy.
I don't like the bird. It reminds me of bad drafts.
Reminds me of
it reminds
the champion.
Ooh! Oh, but Sword is playing it. I can't be happy. It's my favorite champion, played by my least favorite jungler.
Suddenly things got a lot more interesting. Okay, this is much better. Okay, Thresh was banned out. That's why Thresh wasn't picked. Okay, so this is like, I don't know if you guys are on the same train, but again, where I come from, there's a little bit of a different meta. But
Yes,
this has been a pretty decently consistent pick, is the Kindred into the likes of Olaf because of your burst potential and being pretty much the only champion in existence that can actually try to counter jungle against an Olaf as well.
Yeah, for sure. Kindred.
No!
I heard that from the other room.
Why?
No!
Flying.
You like
Really, it feels bad, man.
Oh my word. Yeah, this is a, I like this draft so far out of GLX. I really like the Kindred. Like, again, my current name in League is Kindred's husband. I love this champion. I think she's pretty strong at the moment as well. I just don't think Sorn is. I just think Sorn's going to get outplayed, so I don't particularly like the pick. They hovered the Sejuani. I would have actually liked that pick. Sorn is a really good Sejuani.
I've recovered.
Okay, I was hoping that you had, because I was worried for a minute.
Jinx Braum is a very strong lane. It's Braum is also extremely good up against these double AD carry comps. I understand not really wanting to sort of blind pick a Braum in terms of support matchup, because you can get some very rough ones. But then you have the... But, I mean, so I guess not picking that is fine. You could go for something like a Leon. Go for something like a... Nah!
Can I, if I were TS, and I'm not TS, so like I can't speak for them directly, in my professional opinion, if you take Gragas at B3 right there, like, you could flex it support or top lane, you now have an AP threat, you got a counter to Kindred, like, that's flawless. There is nothing wrong with that pick in the slightest. And Braum's really good with the likes of Jinx, but just the flexibility to like there are other better picks. And I get your priority on Gnar for some reason that the VCS top laners have, but like at this, like, we stop blinding Gnar, please, somebody.
I mean, it's interesting as well, because by taking away the Gnar, you deny Ken picking it. And we know that when Ken picks Gnar, he gets camped and dies 7 times. 3 Ken. Yeah, I'm not believing this Ivan until it's locked in. It's not happening. It's not top lane Ivan. It's Leona.
And I mean, GLX kind of gave Team Secret the out by just picking the Renekton into the Gnar and just saying, well, top lane doesn't exist. Sorry, fellas. It does nothing. Nothing has happened anymore. So now we've got to look at what sort of Team Secret wants to round out the comp with. Safe mid laner, that's fine. They still have to pick their support. Now they know their matchup, but most of the good pairings for Jinx have been taken away. So you're sort of looking just down at a meta tier list, and what's left? It's an Alistair.
I think Gragas is still a really good pick.
Gragas
is great. It's a Kindred counter. I don't like the Rakan.
This is a terrible pick if against this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, it is locked in though. CBL is going to go the Rakan.
Wait, they counterpicked themselves.
They did.
There's a Leona.
That's questionable. That's really questionable.
Okay.
Look, Team Secret, I respect it. They're playing on hard mode.
Oh.
So, this is depressing, really. They've just picked really depressing comps, and I don't like any of them. I don't like them.
It's a shame that we changed the channel currency away from bad drafts, because we just had a bonanza. Like, this is bad drafts just everywhere. I mean, 4 out of the 5 picks for Team Secret, I actually think, I don't like the order they were picked in, but I think they've ended up being decent picks. The Gnar, the Olaf, the Orianna, and the Jinx, I think are all very strong. The Rakan is ridiculously questionable. Over on GLX's side, that team has no cohesion. What does it do? What does that comp do?
It beats Rakan. It beats Rakan.
It plays Kite very well. It
Yes.
they have a lot of tools to sort of keep backing away. It's sort of undermined a little bit by the fact Olaf is a champion. But
I'm just saying, if anyone in our community doesn't like LS, and I like LS, I'm saying, but if anyone doesn't, screenshot that draft and just send it to him on Twitter, and he'll die. LS will die if he sees that GLX draft. I'm not saying you should do that, but you could.
just so you know, that we're putting up a disclaimer saying don't actually do that. If you do, that could be manslaughter. That
Maybe.
could be questionable. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's head on to Summoner's Rift and Rebel. You get the last word before the game begins.
I don't necessarily hate GLX's draft, but like it's so hard to bet against DS in this one, given that their composition has cohesion and they just seem like the better team. So I'm going to call it 2-0.
Yep, I think that is a very responsible call. It is a robotic mid lane. That's always fun. And, oh god, Sorn, even starting off the game, playing Kindred wrong. Why have you marked Rakan?
I mean, CBL's tendencies, plus...
It's wrong, because you might have to fight at Scuttle.
No, you see, CBL's tendencies mean that he's going to end. It's all big brain. It's about knowing your opponent. Realistically, though, yeah, it's wrong. But overall...
It doesn't really matter. You can actually change it in plenty of time.
Overall, we have two pretty solid comps. Team Secret has a lot more flexibility, but GLX has decent zone control, nice kite potential, so if they get to objectives first, they can set up properly, they should be fine. But unfortunately, with that situation, it means you have to win the laning phase, and I don't think they are in a particularly strong position to do so. Top lane is going to go even, really coming down to player skill more than anything. And I think that's pretty much a wash. Mid lane should just be a farm fest. The only real winning lane should be this bot lane due to the just early game strength difference between these AD carries. But we have Sorn on one of the lowest impact early game junglers in terms of impacting lanes. Not one of the not a really strong ganker. Luckily, he has a lot of setup in the form of the Leona, so maybe we see them try something else.
What is this clear from the Kindred? This is bold. Just going buff to buff.
There's signals they want to go for this with the Rakan mark signals. They really wanted to go for some sort of early gank, but they've kind of over pushed, and so now Kindred can't really set up for that.
But Kindred's level 2. You need level 3. Like, what? I'm so confused. This is just an invade. Leona's gone for the Wander. I mean, if this works,
it's warded
strong,
out.
But it's warded. Oh, they're dead.
Oh, they are so dead.
Marby, they're dead. There's the zap. There's the double pop-up. And oh no. Sorn should be able to dance of arrows over the wall, doing good there. But there's a flash to immediately follow. Bang! Zap goes in. That's an excited Jinx. Now it's a rumble in the dragon pit. Dun, 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 dun. Game is completely over. GLX is shit.
Okay. Yeah, GLX completely go for the biggest brain of plays and forget they left their brain at home. It's big, but it's smooth. My god, was it smooth. They do not track...
Who's smarter, GLX doing that or Rakan flying into your mirror 4 times?
Look, I don't know. I wish I knew, but we basically just give a free first blood plus 2 assists over to Eddie. That's so much free gold. I'm a little disappointed they didn't just pick up the free call and ramp that up even more. But here we see just super aggressive. They did not bother to think, hey, it's an Olaf. Olaf can clear really fast. Olaf will match us here. And my god, the comeback is insane. Team Secret just able to collapse into this really aggressive invade. Now they have about a 1.5k gold lead, and there's just no hope for this bot lane now. It's so far down. Eddie is gonna be so early to his whatever it's called, his Kraken Slayer. Yeah, oh my god, this game's a disaster for GLX.
Yeah,
it's
it's a double scuttle, which means Kindred didn't even get to play the 50-50 game with marks. I mean, look, I kind of obviously I was a bit harsh during the play-by-play, deservedly so. I kind of respect GLX trying to throw something. Like, they know they're the worst team here, so you may as well throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. If that sticks, your Kindred is quite far ahead of an Olaf. You're in a pretty good position. Unfortunately, the ward was there, and you got absolutely bodied.
Yep.
And you're probably out of the game now, but, I mean, if you're in a situation where, well, if we play Team Secret straight up, we probably lose, and now, yeah, our level 1 went wrong, or level 2 went wrong, so we probably lose. Who cares? Nothing changed, right?
Yeah, I think if you wanted to go for that, what you really should have done is gotten Ken to give you a bit of a leash and just really accelerate yourself. Try and make sure that you can outpace the Olaf too, because you have to clear a lot of ground just doing nothing. And Olaf is a really fast clearer, so he matched you. He matched you after doing 3 camps to your 2, because you walked across the entire map. You walked about the longest route you could take by going for double buffs, and it meant you got slaughtered. Anyway, moving on. How do they recover? It's going to be really tough, and they're going to have to look for some sort of setup with Bizbo. They're going to need to try and unlock him, get him around the map. Blazer's holding up doing very well into this mid lane, but
That's what you say. Artifact ripping the shockwave, throwing in those auto attacks, not quite enough to take down the Victor. Needs to be careful now. Sorn is very close, but no flash on the Kindred means that E would never get stacked up, so she just has to back off.
Yeah, but that pressure coming out from the mid lane and coming out from the bot lane, thanks to these item advantages, are getting them a dragon out of it. That's another advantage over to GLX, and they're just making it even worse, getting yet another scuttle crab, taking it away from Sorn, not giving them the option to pick up that mark.
This is brutal.
Sorn hasn't
Do I
picked
have
up
to
a single mark.
Do I have to keep casting when I'm seeing my beloved Kindred just be absolutely butchered?
Yes.
Like this, like, come on.
Yes.
Come on.
See,
this is depressing. I mean, this Kindred is just dead in the water.
yeah,
Completely dead in the water.
This Kindred is going to need a absolute cracker of a team fight. Pop off, get up a pentakill, then maybe it's half a champion, because it still doesn't have any range. But yeah, going in for a bit of a trade, missing the boulder, means he's just going to have to hop away in sadness and shame.
Yep, but he's still doing just fine. This top lane, I think, will become a little bit of an island. The camp chem strategy may not be necessary from Team Secret. Big bang strat. I'm sure they're aware of it. But when the lane's going well and when you have such an advantage already in the bot lane, I think you play around that side, really scale your Jinx hard. Already has the Noon Quiver and the pickaxe compared to a longsword.
Yeah, well, we are waiting for the bag from Shine to come through, so that will be matched as a Noon Quiver. But, you know, 2 longswords to a pickaxe, it's actually not that bad. It was a slightly better back timing for Shine in terms of gold on hand, picking up a few extra CS, but it's good. It's good news for Nagia. Not Nagia. Sorry, he's on the screen. My mind goes wandering.
Shine.
Eddie, it's good news it's still good for Eddie, because I mean he still has that lead. He's still doing a little bit more damage. He's got a lot. He's ramping up. He's got that attack speed built into his kit, so he's not hurting. He can pump out much higher DPS. It's just a matter of staying still.
This game might not be the most interesting to talk about due to what happened earlier, but I do want to get your opinion on this. This is a Conqueror Jinx. What do you think of that? It's normally Fleet Footwork or Lethal Tempo.
I honestly, personally prefer Conqueror in terms of what I've done when I've fiddled around with Jinx. I think Lethal Tempo is just kind of, especially if you're going Kraken Slayer, Lethal Tempo is just a bit too much attack speed, and if you're not losing lane so hard, it's going to kill Jinx.
Turns out they will go for the Camp strat, but this time it doesn't quite pay off as he manages to pop that dominance, get under tower. Now Sorn arriving. You don't want this, Sorn. They go on to Nagia, but he flashes away as the Meganar runs out. Blazers was in the wings.
Yeah, but all the setup, it's all coming together for Sorn. Never mind, it's not coming together for Sorn. He's
Did
not
get a
getting
mark
the damn
there.
thing.
Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, that was the smite animation.
That's
wrong.
him. Yeah, no, okay, because,
It was
yeah,
the
that's
jungle
the
one.
mark
It was
going
the
down.
jungle one.
Oh, dear. It's all falling apart. But, yeah, basically, too much attack speed, and you're not losing the lane. You shouldn't lose this lane particularly hard anyway, so you don't need the extra sustain from fleet footwork.
Yeah, I do. It makes sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I just wanted to get your opinion on it. There's no other super interesting runes to talk about. Everything very standard from both teams as Blazers. Continuing to get bullied by Artifact in the trade, but is holding dead even in the CS. Hasn't quite got that first evolution yet by the looks of it. As now, Nagia in some trouble. Hops, he's about to go Mega though. This is getting scary. Sorn obviously has access to the respite, but has to use it defensively despite going for a dive. They could easily call round 2, but they decide to call it off.
Interesting. They had that extra wave coming in at perfect timing to just re-dive, and now Kemken looks like he's going to go for it.
Kemken's just going to kill him. Yeah, that was bad. Really badly played by Nagia. Had to try and find a way out of that. That was an easy kill.
Yeah, I mean, from that point, Nagia's best option was to just try and hard shove the wave. Wasn't able to do that in the Meganar form, so ended up not really doing anything come transformation. And that was a nice pickup for Kemken. Gets a kill back on the board for GLX, but unfortunately nothing for Sorn. Sorn didn't get an assist, didn't get a mark. He is still completely... He's a little lamb. He's a little lammy. No buck to his bite. No wolf to his herd. I don't know. I don't know farm animals, man.
I thought you'd know all about lambs, considering you're Welsh.
I'm a city boy.
Considering you're Welsh, but anyway.
And I'm from
it
New
is
Zealand.
also,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I know. You should know all about sheep. But anyway, the big problem here is not even just the marks. It's a 30 CS gap. It's a 30 CS... Shut up. I'll come and hit you. It's a 30 CS gap in the jungle, and oh my god, CBL, calm down, son.
That's why he marks CBL, because sometimes he just does that. And unfortunately, Sorn's not here to capitalize on it. He's finally marked DNK, so if this pops off, it can be the recovery. It can be the Sorn redemption arc. But looking at this, they don't have good positioning. They are very easily corralled.
Nagia, this could be an absolutely massive ult if he finds it. But in the end, the gravity field's used. It's only the shockwave onto Bizbo. I think Team Secret have gone a little bit too far, and they managed to back off safely. Artifact having to split, but not able to get caught. So it's going to be round 2 around the Dragon, but this time with no Meganar.
GLX is actually in a much better position for this Dragon now that Nagia has completely wasted it. He was spent too long looking for the perfect Nara ultimate. He couldn't use it at all, but CBL on the flank in a very good position to set up, but he's been spotted out.
Yeah, he's been tracked, and there's a good smite coming in from Sorn. Securing the Dragon, Kemken going low, but not going down. Nagia hopping around, can't get Meganar. Oh, the rocket! Goes through at the perfect ankle. Lovely, lovely stuff. And now GLX is in trouble as Eddie is charged forward. DNK with the axes, moving as well. Bizbo falls, but this speeds the Jinx up again. And will go in on Sorn. Kemken is claiming the kills. And it's all fallen apart. You got the Dragon, but at what cost?
Kemken ain't claiming anything. It's Nagia, but...
I just see Nara, I assume Kemken.
I know. It's the Sorn Italy conundrum all over again. But we see the problem. It could have actually gone so much worse for GLX there. Eddie almost popped off immediately. He did pop off, but he had to wait because he got trapped up by the gravity field. They're not actually going to be able to get too much out of this. I believe that bot lane tower is already gone, so they just end up with the gold, get those kills, get back, pick up these mythic items, pick up these boots, and they are well on their way to claiming this game.
And the series and the tied 4th spot with SBTC This is a good run for Team Secret. I was kind of writing them off a little bit after how disastrous the start of their split was, but they've really come back. Considering they started 0-3, to come back and be a very strong contender for 4th is incredibly impressive. And Team Secret finally might have found the formula to get them over the line, and I am shocked that it doesn't include Slater.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say it's all down to these rookies, in my opinion. I think the mental state, especially from Nagia, is just so good for these players. Nagia, solid as a rock. He can get absolutely trashed in one game and then come back right back in the next one and be A-okay. Just have the game of his life.
Solid Bisbo. Can we talk about that?
Cheeky Leona. Have you ever seen an armored woman in a bush? No, therefore it's stealthy.
Yeah, it's true.
And on top of that, Eddie and CBL seem to have much better coordination together, which is kind of weird when you think about it. But if you think about it a little bit harder, sure, CBL and Slater played together on Flash and Spring, but CBL and Eddie were the bench buddies on Secret in summer, so their synergy is much more recent.
True.
And it's working out extremely well against everyone in this back half of the split, and now up against GLX.
GLX wanted to make something happen there. They did get a flash out of Eddie, and the rest are still collapsing. Here's Blazers, here is Sorn. CBL's going to move in. There's the Lamb's Respite having to be used early, but bang, Eddie could not get inside of it. CBL taken down as well. Sorn finally getting something back, but it's only a short-lived pleasure as Artifact from the side will get a shockwave to kill him. So it's a 1 for 2 at the moment. So, favouring GLX. They are firing back. They haven't capitulated.
Yeah, and with that turn of play, I think Sorn may have finally gotten a mark. On the other side of the map, it's Nagia. He's coming in and smashing things.
Hang on. Artifact has gone way too far. You don't win that. Without Shockwave, you do not win that. That was silly, silly, silly.
You absolutely do not. That has already, I believe, already has the Q evolved, so that is just so much single target damage. If there's nothing else to soak those Qs, you just die. That is the power of Kai'Sa. She's an assassin. You can't 1v1 her.
No, you really can't, particularly without the Shockwave from Orianna. That was very silly from Artifact. I don't think it'll have too many long-term effects, thankfully. There's no immediate objective. It's just a bit of gold for Shine, who is still very far behind in terms of itemization. He's catching up, though, slowly. The issue is that you never want to be catching up to a Jinx, because you're not going to scale as well as her.
Yeah, Jinx is a frustrating champion to play against, because she is one of those champions that you have to divert your entire attention to. If you leave her alone for a second, she just removes everything off the map. She attacks so fast, she does so much damage, especially with the new items. She just tears through everything, especially champions. Structures, of course, she tears through those, but she always did. And now we're looking into this next dragon fight. There's still a bloody mark on the scuttle grab, so no, Sorn has not picked up a mark. Oh, Sorn, no. Oh, but we're going in. Good engage on.
Sorry about that. My mic fell over, but I am back in as Nagia has started it off well, getting in onto Bisbo as Sorn dancing forward. Just wanted to say, he could have one mark. If you have one mark, it'll still mark Scuttle Crabs. Just saying.
Okay. Well, either way, it's still not very good. It's still not very good for Sorn. But they lose the fight. It's only a kill onto Bisbo, but they do give up the dragon as well. It is worth mentioning, we are on a Cloud Rift, which is pretty fantastic for the side of Team Secret. They love short cooldowns, and they love movement speed, especially on Rakan and Olaf, and that's Blazers
and Blazers just dies for no reason whatsoever. Just caught napping, caught flat-footed, and the victor goes down.
And it's just this small mistake. It looks GLX cannot get a win. I say that they got to win. The Caster Curse meta is strong.
It's not a real win, though. It's not a real win.
It's a blue buff.
Eddie picking up another wave. We'll be heading back to base. I think it should be enough to complete that Runan's Hurricane by now. The Sorn continuing to power far.
I think it's going Phantom Dancer, yep.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, good call.
It's the longswords that give it away.
Fair point. I didn't notice them. Marby, just too smart. But, you know, again, Team Secret do need to keep their foot on the gas. Jinx will obviously scale to a hyper carry, but Kindred, if this game was to go for another hour or so, will become a real menace for Sorn. As set up, or Artifact is dead.
Artifact is dead.
That teleport. I let it finish.
Why would you?
Let it finish.
By the way, we can see Sorn has no marks.
Oh, yeah. There's an engage. Bizbo has been caught. Bizbo has been taken down. That'll speed Eddie up and slow Sorn down. Lovely zap there. The Lamb's Respite has to come in, but that's just going to slow roast the Lamb. It's Eddie firing in, gets one. Sorn finally falls, actually to the Olaf, but now traded back by Blazers. Can Blazers get away? It looks like he can. So it's actually not the worst fight ever for GLX.
Still no mark for Sorn, by the way. Had the Olaf mark, so and Olaf is obviously still kicking and all very happy. And that was just a bit of actually quite a good fight for GLX. They got a lot of gold back, but now Nagia is not going to let Blazers get away with it. Actually, he is going to let him get away with it. Gravity Field is good.
It is. This Baron is a little bit risky because they don't have their Jinx here. Blazers can actually do quite a lot of poke damage. 2,500 health left on it. DK
so
is really low. Oh, but Blazers get Shockwave. Brisbo dives into the pit, but it's just for Leona. Doesn't really do any damage. The smite healing is actually going to be
Here comes Ken.
Yeah, but Ken can't do anything. He's a lonely crocodile wondering where his team went. And that's going to be a Baron secured.
Yeah, just a little bit too uncoordinated. They went in one at a time. Here we see Artifact just blows up. And here, they want Ken to not take the tower, but they just... I don't know.
I think that's miscommunication.
I don't know why they didn't let that finish. Sure, there was the follow-up from Team Secret. I guess maybe because of how late it was, they guessed that the rest of Team Secret were around and wanted to just say, no more nah, thank you. Yeah, and we'll take the fight, but...
It's definitely low risk, but I think you need to be going high risk, high reward in the scenario GLX is in.
And in the end, we saw how it plays out. It's a Baron for the side of Team Secret, and now they should be able to just group up as 5, siege down these towers, because GLX really cannot fight front-to-back 5v5s up against this gold lead, up against this composition. If Nagia, at the very least, has Meganar available, then they should win every fight.
Oh, hello. We do have a 2v2, though. It's a support in the top laner, taking on a... support in the mid laner. But the mid laner is dead. CBL on the run on the other side. Bizbo's trying to get something going. GLX are actually in really good position here as Eddie gets caught by a Zenith Blade and taken down. Team Secret take their hands off the wheel. And the Coppers have spotted them.
Luckily for them, they have Nagia pushing on the top side, but it is just an overextension. Yeah, bot side. Yeah, into the red base. They're going to get this inhibitor out of it. Ken's going back, but he can't push off this Meganar, not by himself. And if Nagia really wants to try and go for a little bit of a bit more damage, but no, Blazers makes his way back. Nagia's gonna run away, only getting that tower. So in the end, it's not the worst. They can reset now. They're back up in time to contest this next dragon. So not the biggest loss, but it's still gold in the pockets of GLX, and that's not what you want. You're giving them avenues back into this.
Exactly.
Did Sorn pick up a mark? No one knows. I don't think he wasn't even there. Never mind.
No, he didn't. Yeah, this Kindred is really unhappy. Has managed to catch up a fair bit in farm, completed the Kraken Slayer, but still very, very far behind DNK. He's going to really struggle to have an impact outside of the ultimate. Maybe a really good Lamb's Respite can turn something around, but it's a symmetrical ult. Like, it's kind of hard to do that. But the dragon spawns, GLX wants nothing to do with it. That makes sense. It's not Soul.
Good
Just
news.
Give that one up.
Someone picked up a Soul somewhere along the way because now he's marked the Raptors.
Oh, there we go.
Good job, folks. We did it. We are not going soulless. But we're seeing very good aggression coming out from Team Secret, pushing into this jungle. They don't have the Barons to work with anymore, but they do not need much time at all with these turrets. As you can see, Eddie's just raining down hell.
And that's in rocket form. So he's even playing it safe and not jumping into the minigun. This is a jinx, right? This is 3-item jinx. It's hard to do anything about this.
Yeah, 3-item jinx, and looking across at the other side, 2 items for Shine, caught up a little bit, and we're seeing not too much of giant gold leads, item spike leads across the map. There's notable differences in the bot lane and the top lane, and that's about it. Junglers are about the same, mid laners are about the same, but that's enough. It's about 6,000 gold leads, so they seem to have clawed their way back a little bit. At the very least, they've clawed back in percentage. They've kept it relatively close to that mark, and now they just need to hold on. GLX does. If they can hold on, maybe pick a good fight like you've picked a few before. Find Artifact overextended without vision like he is right now. You might be able to find your way back into it. He's fine, but he is overextended without vision. This is a recurring thing. This is why he's been caught out multiple times.
I do see your point. They will need quite a few things like that, though. I know you know, this is a long road back for GLX, but they are making the beginning steps as they are collapsing onto Nagia. And the Mega Gnar's about to run out. He has to make a play right now as he gnars straight into the wall, but he's still Mega. He can't double hop away. He uses the flash, but Shine can chase, and they will pick up that kill, but it's just going to be traded immediately because Blazers, what are you doing there?
Being completely caught out, and because Kentian is just so tanky at this point, Nagia can't get one back, but they get one back in mid lane, and because everyone's bot side, that's another tower to go down.
Ooh, the double shockwave, massive. But will they actually have the damage to follow up on it? I think that Solar Flare might have kept them alive. Now Sorn is the target. The respite comes in. He does hop away. Well done. Oh, but Artifact says nope. They'll take that down. They'll grab the inhibitor. And they'll back off because Baron's up in 15.
Baron's up in 15. They can clear out these jungle creeps. They can put some wards down, make sure they have all the entrances to the pit covered, clean up this crab. Maybe they just started up straight away. They still have Sorn off the map after all. Yep, that's what they're going to do. It's going to melt immediately because Eddie is just so far ahead on this Jinx.
Yep.
Unless it's looking for a miracle steal or nothing, and it's going to be nothing.
Yeah, Sorn's not even alive. So no chance of a smite steal. Down it goes. Another Baron secured for Team Secret. They are so far ahead. It is this 9-ish K gold. It's actually only a 7K gold lead. I can count. It's late. And Nagia in this mid lane. Mega just having a farm.
Yeah, just a very nice farm coming through. And we have to sort of just start looking at the future, I guess, for these teams, because I don't think we're going to be having much of a future of this game. There's nothing on the map for another minute, so I guess you could say Team Secret have to look to pick up some more vision around the dragon to set up for their, game-winning fight around the soul. But beyond that, what do we have for Team Secret? They're climbing their way up to playoffs. They are going to be, if they win here, they are tied with SBTC at 4th in game score and in series score. They are 1-1.
And in head-to-head, so it's a real tie.
So it's real tough, but they have a much easier team. They have much easier teams to face. They both have Cerberus, but one team has Flash and GLX. Wait.
They both have GLX, but the difference is I think SBTC still has
SGB.
SGB, that's it.
SGB, yeah.
It's that one series difference.
Yeah, they both have Flash, they both have Cerberus, but one has SGB, the other one has BTS. Very different teams. As we see Nagia going for the kill.
The big engage, the shockwave comes in, Kai'Sa goes down. Probably the best shot GLX had to defend this inhibitor is gone. Did deal a lot of damage. It might prevent Team Secret from just ending the game, but they
I think so.
definitely don't
Eddie's
see
full.
it that way. Yeah, you are right. I'm glad to see it, as there is CBL going in. The only other damage threat is dead. The towers are being shredded. Eddie is having an absolutely amazing performance. Oh, Kindred had to die one more time, just to tug at my heartstrings. There goes the tower. It will be Team Secret picking up the series in a really, really dominant fashion. They finished 10k gold ahead. They double the enemy team's kills. That was destruction on Summoner's Rift, Marby. We are going to go quickly back over to the VCS English analyst desk to get the last thoughts of Mr. Rebel Fox before we bid you a good night. Come on in, Rebel.
Come on, Ryan.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again.
How was it?
What did you think of that series and that second game?
I mean, that went about as expected, right? Even from minute one, they had that like immediate 3 kills in the Dragon Pit, which was ridiculous. But the thing that sticks out to me most about Team Secret that's just kind of come about, you remember they started the split off really, really shitty, to be quite honest. Like they didn't do well. And out of nowhere, they've just been able to not only make an adaptive play, but also to come back and now look to tie for 4th place, where now SBTC no longer gets that spot exclusively to their own. But more impressively is, like, look at how good Eddie's playing, man. Like, Slater is supposed to be one of, if not, like, just supposed to be one of the top ADCs. And this team has completely shifted away from that and gone into Eddie exclusively. And it's looked so good. Like, how much of that game was on the back of Eddie's shoulders was ridiculous, and how much faith they put into him has been just miraculous.
Yeah, I really like it. I think Nagia as well is much more consistent than Coded. Maybe I don't think I've seen the highest highs that Coded sometimes has, but that doesn't matter. Like, it's about the floors a lot of the time, and Coded's floor was really low. I don't want this. I don't want to drag this analyst desk too long. It annoys me how scuffed the production is. But I want to get your last thoughts, Marby, and then I'll sign us off.
Yeah, I think with GLX, you've tried Sorn so many times, and Sorn has not worked for you. Just give up. Follow Team Secret's example. Invest in your rookies. Because look what they can do for you. They can pay dividends, man. They're not all Shine. Sometimes they're Killer Queen, and sometimes they're Eddie. Sometimes they're Nagia. Sometimes they're Taki. Look, this series was a great example of it. We saw all the old blood just faltering. Shine had an okay series, honestly. He wasn't that great, but we don't expect him to be. It was good for Shine. But the big carries were Eddie. The big carries were Nagia. These were the rookies. Artifact was fumbling quite a lot. I mean, he had great shockwaves, but he also greatly overextended. CBL, I mean, he sort of ran it, made some int plays, but they worked out because they were so far ahead or whatnot. And DNK, he was along for the ride. He provided a lot, but he wasn't the big star. It was these rookies, and I think it's going to be a bit of a changing of the guard for the VCS, and Team Secret and SGB are leading the way.
Yeah, that they are. And as you can see on screen, we do have the standings. GLX now in 8th place, Flash overtaking them. That battle for 6th place is still fairly hot, of course, in the VCS. This is not a franchised league. There is still relegations. So the 2 bottom teams have to fight for their life in the promotion series. And VCSB is getting meaner and meaner every year. And of course, Team Secret now tied for 4th. The next few weeks between them and SBTC will decide how that one goes. It's going to be exciting stuff. But with that, we will bid you a good night here on VCS English. We've really loved having you here. I do apologize again. Production is incredibly scuffed. As I said, I moved into this flat about 2 hours or 3 hours before we went live. I don't have any furniture. I'm sitting on the couch. My computer's on a cardboard box. It's scuffed, but it'll be better tomorrow. I'm going furniture shopping, I promise. With that, though, we really would appreciate it if you did support the stream through subscriptions, donations, or subscribing to us on Patreon. We're still trying to work out some rewards for people on Patreon. If you have any suggestions, join our Discord and let us know, because we do want to give back to you guys who do support us. We just can't think of anything. And with that said, do join our Discord. It's where VCS English started. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And we will be back the same time, the same place, tomorrow night.